welcome back, Jantz Miller.
Hi.
To the Unsuccessful Entrepreneur Podcast. Padcast. We're in Boston today.
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast.
For those that didn't listen to his previous episode, he is on episode, I am not sure. I will look that up.
Perfect.
And
The beginning.
yeah.
What was that?
It was probably,
26, 28.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'll find it.
thank you. Thomas is our secretary. Yeah, it was. So we've done only like a few repeat guests so far. I think you are like maybe the third or fourth person we've ever done a second time, and we're like, oh yeah, like you were probably. So this is episode 81,
28.
so
Posted
28.
September 13th, 2023. Wow. You were dealing with the whole scorpion thing during that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that. What was the scorpion?
A scorpion crawled into my bed, stung me on the eye.
Oh yeah.
And it was healing.
No scorpion injuries this time.
No. I swapped
Nothing.
Scorpion for the Able Commission.
The scorpions of the government.
Right?
Have you heard what he's going through? All right, so I asked him before to make sure he was okay with sharing this, but he's kind of going through I would be very stressed if I were Jantz right now, and he's handling it very, very well. It'll all be fine. But do you mind sharing?
Yeah. Basically, the Able Commission has deemed our license improper. We've been in business 14 years, and what had happened is in 2021, when my grandfather passed, or we operated until that point of 2021 under my grandfather's name, under his license. When he passed, we then operated to 2022 and 2023 on a reprieve, them knowing that he was no longer with us. Then, so 2022 to 3, 23 to 4, November of 24, we then get what's known as it was like an absolvement, or it's a weird word they use, where they give us one more year to operate. With the agreement, we will, file a new sole proprietorship license. So we did, correct FEIN number, sales tax, CAD programming to get the square footage laid out, the inspections, the 4 levels of inspections for city compliance, fire department, everything that needed to be done except filing the paperwork for a new sole proprietorship license, which in mind is the exact same paperwork they have on file for 14 consecutive years.
Right.
Instead of it saying David Miller, it says Miller Family Trust and has a different date on it. Our home is the same.
Right.
The square footage of the building, the location of our business, everything's the same.
Right.
But they are treating us now like we have not been in business for 14 years, and we are jumping through every single hoop necessary to get back open.
Oh.
So they are trying to make me an unsuccessful entrepreneur.
Don't you love city stuff like that? Like, it's a lot of times where it's like, I remember with Edmond, like when we were opening Edmond, we'd like get a call and it'd be like, yeah, well, you need to have the city send this paperwork that the city has to the city. We're in the exact same department as them, and it's in a filing cabinet like
I can
13
see
feet away from me, but I need you to send it to me from the city to the city while it's already at the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it our blueprints or
Something.
yeah, I think it was
You have them. I would call you to send them to you. Just do it.
I think it was so the building we moved into in Edmond, it's not sprinkled, but it has fire.
Plenty of frosting though.
That is the technical term. I felt weird using it. It doesn't have sprinklers. But it's small enough that they were able to do firewalls, which is essentially just cinder blocks in between every so many spaces, right? But they had to approve one of the licenses or approve one of the permits or something along the lines. There's so much that goes into just one space. Obviously, is they needed proof that there were firewalls within this building, right? And it's like, well, like first and foremost, this building would have not been approved in the first place if it didn't have the firewalls. Right. And they were like, well, yeah, but we need proof that it does have firewalls for you to get this permit. It's like, okay, well, where do we get that? That's this department. Like, okay, well, can you get that for me so I can then give it back to you? No.
Absolutely. How dare you assume that I could do that?
Yeah.
So you just take a hammer to the drywall and send them a picture.
Yeah, that might have been what the landlord ended up doing.
Yeah.
I think they had to do the same thing here because this one doesn't have sprinkle.
This one's not sprinkled either.
I remember the landlord here, Ali, and someone from the city going at it. Alyssa remembers this story really well because it was like the guy from the city came in, the landlord met him, they're arguing about if it's a firewall or if it's not a firewall, and Ali's like, I already proved it was a firewall, and this guy's like, no, you didn't, you just did this. And they started like arguing in front of us, and like me, Alyssa, and I think Ryan were like, essentially the friends, we're at a friend's house and the parents start arguing and you're like, I don't know what to do.
You're over at your friends for dinner and their parents are yelling at each other like, okay.
You guys have really nice painted walls. So yeah, it's fun. Basically, as you know, it's, you're doing things over here to then be able to reach, step 3 of 5 to then be able to start step 1. But then you can't go to step 2 until step 1's been started over here. But then you have to get to step 2 before you can finish step 4 over here. So it's this just extremely unorganized, long drawn out process that I call them the Able Commission because they do absolutely nothing able bodied. They have to do everything for them. And, there are some nice ladies down there that have been super, super helpful. But then there are some people down there that I refuse to speak to anymore.
Yeah. So. Really quick, I like what you're doing with your mic here. That's really cool. You look extra cool that way.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
He even wore a purple shirt, matches his
purple
cord.
shirt to match the cord. I was just thinking that.
I snuck over here yesterday and saw what cord.
Yeah.
But you are in a very positive mindset about this. For those that don't know, Jantz owns the Wine Barrel. It's the liquor store that Thomas and I shop at frequently, and used to a lot more without kids, that's for sure. And the reason we do that is, especially if you watch the last episode,
very popular episode.
That was a very popular episode.
Very popular episode.
I heard you told me a lot of people came into the Wine Barrel after that, right?
A lot of people that I had not seen before that had heard the podcast came to say what's up, and I was like,
so cool.
Word.
Yeah, the power of the pod. It's tough, being as famous as we are.
Yeah, many people came in and name dropped Thomas.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a lot.
Do I get the Thomas discount?
Yeah, I see your place is sprinkled. That's nice.
Runs a fantastic business, man. I know every time I'm in there, you are having a full-on conversation with anybody and everybody that's in there, and it's like you can tell every customer that's in there has been a customer for a long time and is super loyal, super supportive. So I know for a fact that as soon as you open your doors again, it'll be, dude, everyone will be right there. From my experiences watching you with your customers in your stores, man, I know that I'm going to guess it won't even skip a beat. And I'm going to be optimistic too. And I'm going to say by the time this episode is out, Jantz is open. So go see him at the Wine Barrel.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I really hope so. If governments, would work past 3:30, then there's a chance.
Well, now you're asking too much.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we've been very fortunate to have great customers, and we've gotten a lot of messages on Facebook and Instagram and phone calls and private texts, and a lot of people are like, we'll wait for you guys to be open. And it's like, well, we appreciate that. We're just trying to do right by the community and, sell some booze.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's but yeah, it sounds like you're taking a little time to do some hunting and do some things at the store.
It's either hunt or beat my head against a wall.
I don't think I could stay still.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So lots of waking up at 3:30 and going out into the field and spending 10, 12 hours out there, then coming back to reality and realizing, oh wait, I'm not open. I didn't make any money today.
Yeah. But man, very, very successful business. So I've got no doubts that you guys are just I think you'll come back even stronger. So, and hopefully it's a very short period of time. It's been less than a week now, right? So
4 working government days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday.
To have it, for things to not be in that's which I think stressed me out the most is, for things to not just not be in my hands, but in the government's hands is, Sorry if I'm stressing you out.
No, you're good.
You know what my worst fear would be in your situation that you maybe haven't thought about?
Yeah. Oh, look, a scorpion.
Yeah.
No, I think the worst part about it is we filed. So like we got an email about renewing our license, and we were like, okay, we were told we had to do a new one, but it says clearly renew your license. So with the Able Commission, you don't ask questions, you just do it. So, you pay your $2,500 in city, state, and county taxes or licenses. And, this was a month and a half before. So then not last Friday, but the previous Friday, I call and I'm like, hey guys, haven't got my license yet. I go null and void on Wednesday. Where's it at? Well, you're not getting one. Well, why not? You didn't, do your new license. I'm like, no, we did what you told us to do.
Right.
They were like, no, the automated system told you to do that. We told you to do something else a year ago. And I'm like, okay.
Well, why would that be ever confusing?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Especially when you get an email that states submitted, received, and accepted on your renewal license, and you think everything's good a month and a half in advance.
Why would you think anything different?
Yeah. And then they don't refund the $2,600, for the licenses, or then give credit to the new license. They then you have to go through the finance department to get a partial approval on that. And I'm like, no, I'll get all my money back, or burn it down.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the Elmo with flames meme.
Exactly.
What do you think? They can just change their auto email process when they're only working until 3:30?
Yeah, I mean,
that's not enough time to
expect.
do that.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Like I said, it is what it is. I'm kind of at their how would you say, they control everything. I'm at their disposal. So I have to, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir.
Yeah.
I have to keep my opinions to myself.
Oh yeah.
Or I get that, if I am at the top and they are currently working on me, and then they go, oh, you have an opinion? Yeah. Oh, another week, another 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, you gotta do a little schmoozing a little bit.
It could be a 60-day process, but they're saying, with the rate and the efficiency that we're going, hopefully by the end of this week.
Nice.
So
good.
Fingers crossed.
It'll be a sigh of relief at the end of that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So
then I'll live at the store again.
Yeah.
An opportunity to not live at the store now.
Right.
Been has it been somewhat of a nice change of pace at all?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm an advocate for making sure people are getting what they want. So like, you guys know this, but you come in and you're like, I had XYZ bottle with my family. I'm going to then take the region, the varietal, XYZ, whatever it may be, the price point, and I'm going to find something in that same region or that same varietal or that same flavor profile that's cheaper, to where if you and Alyssa are coming in and you're like, we had this $50 bottle, I'm going to try to find you 2 $25 bottles that are better. And it may not always be able to be done, but I do see a lot of people, like as we've been there the last few days, as they're installing new stuff today, people are pulling on the door and they're like, oh, I have to go to the grocery store. I'm like, yeah, sorry. So we're silver lining on it, and this is this is what's keeping me positive, is I am getting a chance to install my new POS system.
Nice.
Catch up with any and all IT stuff that I wanted to do. New cash drawers, getting installed, credit card processors, updating price tags, and stocking, and that's about it. So we installed new cash drawers today. So
the way you talked about customer service gets me excited. It's always that challenge of, I had this, I like this, but I didn't like this. It's trying to find an even better option and like explain kind of like all the intricacies of it. Like pre-workout is a category that's probably a pretty close parallel to like finding a wine for somebody. It's like pre-workout is very like personal preference. There's generally some good elements and some not so good elements of pre-workouts, but everybody likes a little different thing and a little different combination of different things, right? So it's always fun to say, okay, well, what did you have last time? How did you like it? Was there anything you'd change? Do we want to go a little stronger in the energy, a little lighter? Do we want pump? Do we like the tingles? How it's the flavor? And then it's like, and then you can kind of formulate, okay, well, I think these couple of pre-workouts would be really good options. Here's kind of how they vary. We always kind of throw 2 or 3 options together so that they can make their own choice, but they're all somewhat similar and will fit something that we think that they will very much like. And it's just always a really fun element to customer service. So it's kind of fun to hear you talk about that.
I really enjoy when, I think we talked about this last time, but I really enjoy when, a 40, 50, 60-year-old customer comes in and they see, me 14 years ago, 20, 22 years old, and they're like, we need a good cab recommendation. And I'm like, okay, I got you. And then they're like, you don't know anything about wine. And I'm like, Google. And now I'm to the point of I've had everything and I know what they're looking for. So when they give me an opportunity to show them, okay, yeah, this bottle is worth their time. And then they come back and they're like, you knocked it out of the park.
Nice.
What else do you got? It's like, that's that feeling that you're talking about of like, good customer service. So
I bet one silver lining to this will be the fact that, people, if they want a bottle of wine that are a regular customer with you right now, is, they might have to get it from the grocery store, and now they're picking their own wine. They can maybe Google some stuff. They're not picking as good of a recommendation as you're getting. All of the wine, anything I've ever gotten from you, but especially the wine that I've gotten from you, the recommendations, especially because I don't know wine, I don't have like a huge strong opinions one way or another. You've always made awesome recommendations that I'll take back for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and my family is like, what is this bottle? I need to get some myself. So I'm like, go see Jantz when you're in town.
I appreciate it.
But
when you're in town and he's open.
Yeah.
Drive from St. Louis. Come on.
But now they're having to be faced with what it's like to get their wine somewhere else other than the wine barrel. I know we've had some customers move out of state and they try and go get their protein powder at a different local supplement store and wherever else in the country. And I've gotten this a few times where they call and they're like, hey, I tried to get my supplements from somewhere else, and they made some recommendations, but they didn't seem like they really listened to what I wanted. I got things that I don't really like. And man, I just realized how much I really like Triad. So I'm just going to call an order from you guys from now on. So it's like, sometimes you don't realize how nice it is until you don't have it. So
don't know what you got till it's gone.
That's it right there.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's that aspect as well of people having to buy wine at the grocery store and they go in and they want to talk to somebody that has, a SOM degree or whatnot, or their WSET, or and it's like, okay, yeah, you might save $6 or $5, but how did that 18-year-old know to suggest that?
Yeah.
If there was even somebody to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there? Yeah. Hopefully they, even just know what a cab is.
Yeah.
Because Aldi at their wine department does not have anybody working it. They have 12 bottles and nobody knew anything.
No sommelier on the
No.
shift?
No Aldi sommelier. It's the problem with these grocery stores. Aldi's got protein powder now too.
Dude,
trying to get it on our turf, brother.
We'll go.
I knocked it all off the shelf.
Okay, good. I was going to say we'll pay him a visit, but you already did.
That's right. I already broke some kneecaps. Might have been a customer. I don't know. They didn't have an Aldi shirt, but I didn't know who. I was just mad. What is this? Aldi brand protein powder.
Aldi brand protein. That just doesn't sound
on
right.
our corner.
For real. Did they not know?
Out of here.
You think it's just like brown sugar poured into a tub?
I honestly, I just looked at it and kind of and then just kept, and then went and bought a ham. So
Bought a ham.
yeah,
Was that the ham this weekend?
it was
Nice.
Shout out Aldi for their ham though. And it might have been the chef. I don't know, but the ham was killer actually. A whole ham was 10-pound ham, 11-pound ham. It was $22.
Jeez. I guess I don't know what the going rate for ham usually is, but
Me either, but that's a good deal. I felt like I'm going to feed everybody here ham wise with $22. This is great.
We're gonna ham everybody up real easy, real cheap.
We're getting hammed up.
I don't know. It was good though. I didn't use any of the. They came with like little seasoning packets and like a little glaze thing, and I tossed those. I made my own. You know.
Yeah, a chef.
That's right. We haven't even started drinking yet.
I was just thinking about that.
If I've already sang like 2 songs since we've started, we haven't even started drinking yet. We know it's going to be a good.
This
episode.
is going to be a good episode. So, Jantz, says you're pulling those out because I think he's got some surprise, at least one surprise for us. Thank you for sharing and being open about everything that you're going on. For sure, that's going on because like I don't know if I would personally be comfortable sharing a whole lot of it because like that it's definitely something I think a lot of people would not be super open about. But this is the essence of this podcast is sharing some stories of times not always being like amazingly perfect and the hurdles that we have to go through and what we have to do to get past struggles and problems and issues and how we overcome those. And again, it was not always necessarily sharing, things that we've gone through in the past. And this podcast started as me just making posts. It was, these are the struggles that I'm currently going through. This is how I plan to get through it. Here's one, some that I just recently went through and how we overcame those. It was more real time as opposed to, let's wait until, I'm 50, 60 years old and then share all the stories from back when we were young kind of deal. So, appreciate you.
Yeah, get another real time one.
Another real time.
One in real time.
Yeah.
So it's it is what it is.
Yeah.
You can get mad and what's it gonna accomplish?
It's true.
Just go break a bunch of bottles, cost myself money.
Get even more mad.
Yeah. Start picking garbage products and just throwing them in the street.
There we go.
And maybe pick some that aren't moving so well and
just push the discount rack over. All right. Well, I brought 2 things today. So
Also, thank you for always being willing to share like this too.
Oh,
because
dude.
this is a super cool deal.
I live by the motto of good liquor / bourbon is meant to be drank with friends, and we're
are we friends?
I'll say you got those people that like they get good bottles and then they never open them. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
what's the point? Like,
Yep.
I'm like always super anxious to open a bottle as soon as I get it.
Yeah, but it is true though. Like I feel like it's funny because we just had some people over for Thanksgiving, and it's funny because nobody really drank too much. We just drank like cheap stuff. We made like a big mixed drink that was like didn't have any alcohol, and then you could add alcohol to it. So it's kind of like a cider thing, and then we had like apple vodka and like in rum and stuff that you could kind of put in there. But the whole alcohol, so my whole alcohol shelf is fully on display in our living room. And a lot of times when people come over, they're kind of like, "Oh, like what's this? What's that? Can I?" And I'm like, "Literally have whatever you want. Like you can have a pour of anything you want. Don't finish anything. Hopefully, that would be like the one request. But it's just like, man, if you want to try, Macallan 18, like it's sitting right there. Like let's pour it. Let's.
We're not going to have enough opportunities to really put a big dent in this. So.
Well, yeah, I started even thinking about it, man. I mean, there's literal bottles that I have on my shelf right now that I have owned for over 10 years. Ooh. That like literally I've owned for over. Whoa!
I think I don't recognize that one.
Jamesy Pepper.
Yeah. So these are they're both store picks. Sorry, I was taking the opportunity while you guys were talking.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
You
caught our attention.
That's a cool bottle. I've never seen that one though.
So this is the Jamesy Pepper Decanter series, and this is a store pick. So this is one I designed. Big flavor profile on this guy. I'll kind of, before I divulge into the flavors that y'all taste, I'd kind of let you guys decide what you're tasting first. But I believe it's 109. Yeah, 109.4 proof. Super, super good bottle. There's only 2 of these in the state right now. Myself and then my good buddy Marshall, who just bought George's down in the city.
Oh, okay.
So we both have one. I don't know of anyone else that has one. Could be wrong. There could be another one.
I've never been in George's. It's right. I live literally down the street from it. I've never been in there.
It's a cool store. So Cody, the previous owner, he really niched it correctly to take care of people, and Marshall's just furthering and advancing everything Cody's already, successfully done. And Marshall just recently acquired it, he and his wife, Ashley. And they live up by me, but they drive, he drives down there every day.
Right.
But man, he's got some killer store picks as well. Like, we're both big on getting into unique and fun things that no one else in the city has. Now, this one is something that Maker's store picks are available everywhere. However, going to Kentucky and doing a Maker's pick is a lot different than doing it here in the state.
Mm-hmm.
Here in the state, you get sent vials. You basically pick what you want to pick. In Kentucky, you basically get to design this yourself by all the staves. And there's 5 different stave, finishes. And you get to play with it up to 14 different staves. I think it's 14 or 12. Anyway. And every time you add a stave or take a stave away, you're drastically changing the flavor. So we kind of gambled with this one too, because there's 1,001 potential mash bills that can be made from the options that you have at Makers. 992 of 1,001 mash bills had been made. We made one that had not been made yet. So
Whoa.
It is a little different, and it's the first of its kind flavor profile-wise. So
That sounds super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Your store picks are always phenomenal too. Like,
thank you.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I bought. I'm probably behind now, but I was on a period where I was buying every single store pick without. It was like I would like walk into the shop and be like, they got another store pick. I guess I'll get this one too. And I would grab it, and you're like, you want to try it? I'm like, I mean, yeah, but I've already got it. I'll put it on the counter. So
like, I'm buying it anyway.
there was a handful of store picks. I bought 2 bottles too because I was like,
Yeah.
we're going through this one pretty quick. I'd like a second one to not be
Yeah.
open too.
So I noticed you still had a Bossa Nova on the rack in there.
Oh yeah.
Which is an extremely hard bottle to get a hold of, but
Just sitting in our bathroom.
That's how we do the rally.
Oh, that old thing?
I think that was the one. I think we drank that with Chad Mathis.
Nice.
And it was at one of the allocation sales that you did that I got that at. And I think it was a late pick too. And you kind of recommended it, and we drank it with somebody on the podcast. And I think I left it here because there was another episode where I forgot to bring something, and the guest was like really hoping we would have drinks on the episode. And I was like, crap. So I had to run and go grab something as quickly as possible. So I was like, I'm just going to bring something and like make sure to leave it here. So,
But it is funny how it's like when we have like, access to things that we have, that ends up being like
The bathroom
allocated, like super hard to find, and it's on the bathroom shelf.
it's now bathroom allocations now.
That's right. The new bathroom allocations.
So obviously whichever you
Kevin
guys,
had to spray quite a bit earlier because he had a bathroom allocation.
that can get edited out. It won't though,
that's the clip.
right? So yeah, this one's a Maker's Private Select barrel proof, 111.8 proof. Flavor profile wise, they're both different. Like I said, we did go with something a lot different than what we normally go with when I do my store picks, but I was still very happy with it. Being a weeded portfolio and a corn portfolio, obviously you guys can pick which one you would like to start with first, or you can just go with my suggestion.
I've always been a wheat boy, but if we want to leave it up to him,
Old buckwheat.
I'd take your recommendation on which one to do first because I think that makes a big difference.
Go Makers first.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tom, hey, he was right.
he was.
50-50 shot.
But I learned in my years that corn on the palate first.
Pass it on. Pass it on.
Thank you.
Cleanse my palate. Thank you very, very, very much. Oh, yeah.
Can smell the wheat.
I still like my favorite noise is like this noise right here.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get into a whole SSMR episode here. The cleansing of the palate. Yeah. I was told a while ago, I think this was before I was even old enough to drink, that when you smell bourbon or any kind of whiskey, that you're supposed to smell with your mouth open and breathe through both, because it'll dull down the ethanol. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Exactly right.
Interesting.
So
It does make a difference, though.
it's funny. That's going to tailor us into a story.
Okay.
So we're going to be drinking makers while we talk about Wild Turkey. So we were very fortunate enough to get to go to Wild Turkey this year. We go to Kentucky every single year, usually with the thoughts of doing as many store picks as possible. Of course, we did the makers while we were there. We did a couple others that have not shown up yet. I'll probably tell you guys what they are, but not while we're on here currently. I do keep the store picks secret until they drop, because sometimes they hit public knowledge, like our 1792 bottled in bond, and they're gone in 72 hours.
Yeah.
We've got some fun ones coming that if everyone knows about them, they're going to be gone in like a day.
Yeah. We did get to drink some of that 1792 on an episode. I can't remember who that was with, but I think that might have been just you and me on that one.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. It's your stuff, man. Do what you want.
So, like I said, we were very fortunate enough to meet Mr. Jimmy Russell, the founder of Wild Turkey.
Wow. Wow for that story, and wow for this. Holy shit.
Dude, yeah, flavor profile wise on this is killer. And I'll let you guys kind of take it for a little bit. And if you want to add just the spritz of water, if you're the guy that adds water to it, go right ahead. No harm, no foul.
I sometimes am, but
It's dependent upon what I'm drinking.
I've got some opinions on notes. It's probably going to be very different than what you guys would say, because mine are usually off the wall.
Yeah. His are a little sprinkled, if you know what I mean.
I'd say there's no such thing as a wrong answer. What my allspice is could be your cinnamon, could be your nutmeg. I mean, it's to your caramel, your vanilla. It's a lot of companies use the term baking spices, so we always call baking spices bullshit. It's like, oh, they have baking spices. They're talking about the BS. There's 1,500 different baking spices. Right. Which baking spice are we tasting?
Yeah,
right.
So, but anyway, back to the story. So we're doing the tour at Wild Turkey and all that stuff, and we get done, and of course we'd heard Jimmy shows up. Jimmy's like 90, 91 years old, super, super nice guy. We've heard that he shows up between certain hours of the day, so we do the tour. He's not there. We're like, shit, okay, whatever. We get done with the tour. When we walk out of the tasting room, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. And we're like, okay, time to go buy some stuff so he'll sign it. Mm-hmm. So everyone's buying bottles for him to sign. And I went and bought a barrelhead. It's like, I want you to sign the barrelhead.
That's awesome.
And so, we got some signatures and all that stuff, and he's telling us, different stories. And he said something about, a lot of people don't know this, but when you need to reset your palate, smell your skin. One thing that a lot of people don't do on a daily basis is just smell their skin. So like, you take a drink, you smell it with your mouth open, you're getting the flavor profiles, you're picking up different notes, but you're like, there's something else there. If you smell the inside of your wrist and then you go back to it again, sometimes you can pick up that other note. The other thing you can do is you can wait till the glass is empty and you let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. And if you want to talk about the aromas of a whiskey, there's no better way to tell the aroma than from a dry glass. And we found that out in Kentucky as well, but not with Jimmy. But anyway, Jimmy's just, imagine a 90, 91-year-old man that acts like a 5-year-old. He's got a little turkey call, and he waits till cute girls walk by, and he, of course, does it, and they jump, and he's just giggling. He's hysterical.
When you're 90, you can do what you want.
Oh, yeah. He's got this little, go-go rascal, hover round, and he just rolls around on it like, the boss. And
hell yeah.
The dude's got more money than he knows what to do with. I mean, he's taking his Rolex off and showing it to us, and they were telling us stories about they had bought him a Rolex and had it engraved on the backside for him to retire the next day. Because of course it's Jimmy is the grandfather. Then there's Eddie is the son. Then Bruce is our age. He's 35, 33. And Eddie is ready to retire, but Eddie can't retire till Jimmy retires. Well, Jimmy's not going to retire.
Yeah.
So they got him this Rolex, and they're like, okay, Jimmy, hey, thanks for, being the founder of Bourbon in our eyes, and, enjoy your retirement. And that retirement party was a Friday, and Monday morning he was the first one at Wild Turkey Distilling opening the doors. So
just loves what he does.
He just loves it, man. And
that's cool.
It's that same passion I think we all have of like when you enjoy going to work, you enjoy what you do. Like, I mean, he's talking to us. Like I said, he was took his Rolex off, and he's just handing it to my friends Greg and Melissa that are with me, and he's just like, whatever, check it out. It's like $15,000 Rolex. It's just like, here you go. And his wife leans over and she's like, Jimmy, you have people waiting to talk to you. And he's like, I don't remember his wife's name so I apologize, Mrs. Russell, if you listen. But she's like, Jimmy, you have other people waiting to talk to you. And he's like, no, stop it. I'm talking to my friends. And I look at Greg and I'm like, Jimmy Russell just called us his friend.
Yeah.
And like, I'm glowing.
Yeah. You just made my whole trip.
It was awesome.
Oh, that's so cool. I really look forward to being older, because you can do those things of like you can just kind of get away with whatever you want. Not whatever.
Trying to turkey call like cute girls.
I can't do that right now. There was, I worked one summer in college. I worked at a building supply company, and it was family friend. So my grandfather was a very successful businessman, very similar of, he owned a variety of different businesses. He grew manufacturing plants, had I think a few in different parts of the country, sold that, made a lot of money, put that back into a variety of other businesses, and bought and sold businesses throughout the rest of his life. And like, even as like, when I was a kid, we would go around with my grandparents for the day, and we'd go do fun things, but we'd stop in at his businesses, and he'd, check the mail, and we'd go around and meet the employees, and you could tell he just enjoyed being there. It's like, we're doing this like on a Saturday, and he didn't have to be there. And, but it was one of his friends, that was also a business owner, owned a pretty big building supply company. And I worked there in a summer, while I was in college, and I was just doing like basic stuff, like obviously just a summer job. And the company at that time was run by the son, who was my dad's age. They're actually really good friends. They do a lot of hunting together. But the founder, the father of the business, Charlie, would show up kind of mid-afternoon, and he would get on the drivable vacuum cleaners, like a little golf cart, but it was it would like sweep and like pick up all the dust and dirt and everything. And he'd light up a big cigar and just drive around, stop and talk with people however long he wanted to, and then back on his way, back sweeping. And it was like he definitely,
sounds awesome.
Like, that's like a job like I should be doing, like the summer like intern should be doing. It's like, but he just like cruising around and talking with people.
He likes smoking cigars and riding around on the shop Zamboni.
Yeah, the shop Zamboni, exactly, dude. But yeah, I was like, man, that's cool. Like you just enjoy being here. You enjoy like being part of the business. Like you don't have, like, you're at a point where you don't have any like major responsibilities. So you can just come in and like check in on it and just ride around. So have some fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's like, I was like, I look forward to potentially doing that one day.
Yeah. Right.
So
just being old.
Yeah. It'd be cool. Speaking of Zambonis, have you seen Riley's Zamboni?
No.
I've got videos of her. I'll have to show you. But my sister and brother-in-law, Anna and Corey, bought her when she was born a little Zamboni, like a little like kid's toy Zamboni that's just got normal wheels on it. And Riley's now old enough that she can drive it, and she'll do laps in the back of the warehouse.
That's what's up. You have a little hockey player on your hands.
Yeah. She has learned it's a great party trick. But anytime she sees a hockey player, no matter the team, she says, "Go Blues."
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh man, if only our teams weren't terrible.
How is the Wild doing this year?
Yeah.
Probably better than the Blues.
I mean, I don't know. I'd actually need to check. I've been a terrible fan this year. It's still football season in my eyes.
Right. All right, Kev, what are your notes?
Oh yeah, Baking spices.
Baking spices and stone fruit.
When I first tried it, I think I got notes of caramel, but I'm getting more spices the more I drink it. So caramel and not cinnamon necessarily, like a little spicier one. I don't know why baking spices super well.
Obviously.
What other baking spices are there outside of cinnamon?
Cardamom, vanilla, nutmeg, salt, pepper, sugar. I mean, there's thousands of them. Like,
I'm thinking of I don't know, something that's a little spicier than cinnamon.
Yeah, I'm getting like definitely like I'm seeing like a touch more vanilla than caramel to me. And then I'm with you. Like there is some spice to it for sure.
I got it after I smelled my wrists.
Let me get a
wrist. It got like substantially more spicy after I did that, which was interesting. Like a good spicy.
Mm-hmm. But see, I also like when they say things like, "I'm getting like leather and tobacco and things like that." I don't know if I actually understand what that means, but I kind of understand what that means. I feel like a little bit. Like I am getting a little like sweet tobacco-y kind of vibe to me.
Maybe that's the spiciness.
He's like, you dumbasses.
Yeah, you guys are hitting on a lot of it, but there's one big one that neither one of you guys have said yet.
Jantz is like, here's the correct answer.
So there's a fruit note that comes to play, and it's really tough to put your finger on what the fruit is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes off as like a red berry, like for lack of a better term, a strawberry. It's not strawberry. It's not cherry. It's
snozberry.
Yes, it's snozberries.
It's like schnozberry.
There's a big citrus note as well. And the orange on the citrus note is a little bit easier to pick up on for me.
Yeah.
There is a little bit heavier vanilla. I do feel like there is caramel on the back end. There is a spice note. There's an earthy texture. A little bit of a leather, oak aspect as well.
One of my first things that it is almost like because it's not like a overly sweet, like it's not like a molassesy, but it does have like one of my first thoughts was almost jammy, like a lightly sweet jam kind of thing.
Yeah. Let's say you could get the fruit note from like a jammy, like a jelly kind of note.
Yeah.
We haven't necessarily, I mean, everybody tastes different things. So once again, there's no such thing in my eyes as a wrong answer. And every time you drink it, it depends on what you've had that day as well. Right. So, if you had pad thai an hour before this and you had a Philly cheesesteak and I had,
how do you know time is so
I wish.
And, I've had nothing but like water and a rice cake or something, we're all going to taste different things. So I wouldn't eat a rice cake, but
what's the story?
I'm hungry now.
What's the story? You've told this a number of times when we drank wine on the podcast.
That's right.
And you stopped at the wine barrel to get a couple of bottles of wine.
And he asked what I was going to be eating, and I said, to be honest, probably a couple of grilled chicken sandwiches from Brahms. And he goes, ooh. that changed the you're right, but that's great.
This is our grilled chicken sandwich special wine.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure I probably would have suggested something Italian to you.
Yeah, there we go.
And he's part Italian, so
he knew from
just looking at you.
That's right. And then he was like, Italian grilled chicken Sammy's from Brahms. And they had this one over here. They were good too.
That's why we shop with you, though.
Well, it's appreciated.
Yep.
It's
very good also, by the way.
Do you still have any of that left in the store?
Oh, yeah. So the funny part of this is the maker's pick showed up a week before I had to close. So I didn't even really announce that it was here. Some people got it, but not everybody did. And then this one showed up the day before I closed.
That's tough.
So, and this one, like, I love the makers. I think the makers is absolutely astounding. Excuse me. Like I said, myself, my buddy Greg, his wife Melissa, their son Mitchell, a couple other friends joined us all for this pick in Kentucky, and when we did it, we were very, very specific on. I was hell-bent on trying to mimic Maker's RC6, which was the very first wood series release they did. Big notes of vanilla, big notes of caramel. It's the route I tend to go. Big heat, big sweet. Combine it together.
That was Thomas's nickname in college.
Big heat, big sweet.
Yeah, that's right. They're my alter egos.
That one threw me.
Tonight I'm big heat.
Yeah. In the morning I'll be big sweet.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, we went down the road. You only get, so you're only supposed to get 3 chances to make a whiskey because you're drinking so much while you're there. They have to limit for liability purposes. So we totally only had 3 attempts at it. And I know I'm on video.
Right.
So yeah. So attempt 5.
As some would call it.
We started the route of the RC6. We didn't like the route it went. Just couldn't mimic it because the staves had been discontinued. They were experimental staves. So on attempt 3, we ended up going a different route and going very much liking where we were at. So, this one, the stave profile specifically, is stave profile 1, baked American pure on a level 3, seared French cuvee 0, Maker's 46, which brings so much flavor. With that specific stave changes whiskey so much. Roasted French Mendiant. I'm sorry, I did that all backwards. The numbers are in front, not behind. So we'll start over. Baked American Puree 1, seared French Cuvée 3, Maker's 46 0, roasted French Mendiant 4, and then toasted French Spice 2. So we used 4 of 5 different staves. We did completely pull Maker's 46 staves out of it. They were good, but once again, it would have given us a duplication of what someone else had already done, and we wanted that nuance of never been done before.
So when you say stave, guys like myself, I know exactly what you're talking about. Kevin, on the other hand, has no idea. So maybe just so for him, so he could understand.
So purely Kevin,
one of the plebs of the group.
A barrel. When you look at a barrel, there's all the wood slats that curve on the outside of the barrel. They can be repurposed and used as staves inside of the barrel to add extra oak flavoring, and you can get
little flavor sticks.
Correct. Yeah, it's like the cinnamon stick of bourbon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you can go with different types of wood, but as long as it's in a new fired American white oak barrel, never been used before, it is still a bourbon. You can add staves in all you want to. You cannot add additives, so you can't add vanilla extract. Those the rules and all that stuff. And Makers does a stave program. They're one of the few. Oak and Eden does as well. Shout out Oak and Eden. I have 2 store picks of theirs in my store. Some really good ones. Matt designed a 4-grain, and I did an Amberana. But yeah, it's just new, different, doing things that people aren't doing.
That's cool.
That's getting. I feel like that's kind of generally the fun part of business, though, is like trying to do things, even just 10% different. It's which is a lot riskier than I think people realize. Of not necessarily always just doing the tried and true, the things that may be played out, and like people have I've tried this over and over again. It's good, but it's not new anymore. But really taking chances on doing new things is I feel like a lot of fun. So how did that one do in the week that you were able to sell it?
Quite well. I mean, so we've done, I think, 43 store picks in the 14 years we've been in business. Of course,
that's crazy.
We didn't start doing store picks until about year 8. So we've done 43 store picks in 6 years.
Oh.
How many per year is that?
Math
ain't so good.
These last 2 years, we are at. Last year we did 9.
Whoa!
And I think this year we're on track for 7.
That's awesome.
Now, you got to be moving through all those to be continuing like this.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
There are some that don't receive as much love. There are individuals that do love them, and they are good. They're good bourbons, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But there are some that don't reach the turn ratio, and that kind of leads into another point of what I call tater chasing. This is where we would tater chasing.
So I know what tater chasing is, but
right.
So
me too.
To Thomas.
No, I do think, but for the viewers who are like tater chasing, like What are we talking about? French fries?
Individuals that won't give anything a chance outside of a Buffalo Trace, an Eagle Rare, a Weller, or a Bland's.
Yeah.
A tater chaser.
Yeah.
Those tater
So
chasers.
you see a store pick, you see a store pick, and most stores don't do the whole try before you buy thing like we do. We want people to feel like, hey, try it, see what you think. If you don't like it, no harm, no foul.
We're big on that too.
And people will try it, and they're like, oh yeah, it's really good, and then they'll say, oh, we'll come back and get it later, and then of course they never do. And my thing is like, I'm really trying to show off what store picks can be. Of a lot of times they're better quality allocations. Or at least that's what I'm shooting for in the design of a store pick, is to put something that's a little bit more readily available, that I'm not limiting out on the floor, to where people can get it for an MSRP price point, not spend $250 on secondary market for a bottle of Weller Full Proof or whatever.
Right.
We can make something just as good or better.
Correct.
And have it available.
Within the ballpark of something that's that good.
Right.
Yeah, and ideally I like to stay under $60 a bottle. Now it's not always feasible, but we come damn close a lot of times. Now there are a few, the Good Times and the Smoke Wagon and things like that do sit at a 110 or a 90 or an 85 or whatever. Like this Maker's currently is, like I said, for the week it's been out, it's done fantastic. It is $84 bottle. Of course, everything reaches a point of stalemate to where, okay, now you have to re-entice people, so let's drop it $5. And then, if for some reason it didn't, take off again, we could pull it 5 more. At that point, though, that's realistically my markup.
Right.
I can't go any lower than that. So,
Right. I think people forget, like, you got to make enough to keep your doors open.
Right.
Pay for your rent and your mortgage, your food,
my licenses.
your licenses. You got
Your
expenses.
bonus licenses that you don't actually need. Correct. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, question: when you do all these, when you're doing these store picks and you're actually in Kentucky, like, how are they creating this thing? Do they have just like whiskeys already that they've had the staves in, and then they like mix it, kind of like okay, so they're essentially taking what they already have and then doing little droppers of different stuff to kind of create what it would taste like.
So they basically just take 5 barrels and they do a barrel that has, an entire barrel of, baked American puree, and that's all the staves that are in it.
Right.
And then they do another one of seared French cuvee, and another of just 46, and so on.
And then it's just the different ratios that you do. So it's essentially like a blend at that point. And is that what actually comes in the bottles as well as a blend, or are they putting the staves in and you're creating your own barrels then?
Yes. So even since the last time we had our talk, some of the bourbon rules have changed.
Interesting.
So you can now blend a whiskey with other whiskeys and then put it back into a barrel, and it is still a straight bourbon whiskey.
Right.
So even the term small batch is no longer a thing anymore. It's gone by the wayside.
Wow.
The minimum age statement has
Small batch was actually Kevin's nickname in college. So glad to hear that's going away.
I gave you a cool one.
Kevin can finally move on from that awful day.
Yeah, we got old Big Heat, Big Sweet, and old Small Batch over here.
Oh shit.
Nah. If anybody's looking to, help Kevin out, he just started a new OnlyFans also. It's OnlyFans at smaller than you'd expect.
We need to.
I haven't drank in a while.
We need to drink more often on the podcast. I was just about to say
I haven't
that.
drank out. Dude, even at like Thanksgiving, I think I had like half a drink, and I'm like, I had a rum and Coke like a week ago.
Dude.
We stopped drinking on the podcast, really.
Yeah.
Like, we've had like a beer or something, but
Because it's like, dude, days have been kind of
I'm
crazy.
starving immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, people are listening right now and they're like, they're back. Old Big Heat and Small Batch, they're back, baby.
So shirts for next time.
That's
then.
right.
Yeah.
That'll be the goal to be the first, 3-peater.
Yeah.
That's right.
We'll do-
Yeah, you want to come back next time?
Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow.
Funny enough, 3-peater was Kevin's nickname in high school.
Say we're knocking it out of the park tonight.
Oh,
Say
man.
we'll do something big for the 3-peat. We'll do like 10 bottles or something.
Yeah, we'll
Ubers.
Yeah.
Well, all right, we'll do 5. We'll do 5.
No, 10. You said it. We're doing 10.
Still need Ubers. I'm about to DoorDash Taco Bell.
You only had one. You're not even one in.
Shut up.
Yeah, we still have another one to go.
Oh man. So the makers we just drank, it's blended, but it is all just like a blend of makers, right?
Yes. Yep.
So as long as you're using not small batch, small batch. What's the other one?
Single barrel.
Single barrel. As long as you're using all single barrel, then it's still like
Technically.
But then it becomes a blend. It's just like Scotch in that sense,
Yeah,
right?
I think it's still appreciated as a blend, and it's still appreciated as, the purists will say, well, that's not a straight bourbon whiskey, and
Right.
and that's fine,
Sure.
But for another example is Buckner's, Augusta Distilling Co. They use a lot of buff turkey barrels, where they have acquired bourbon that has Buffalo Trace and Wild Turkey have dumped their own bourbon into it, put it into a barrel, and then Augusta bought the barrel,
Right.
aged it X amount of years, and then releases their, Buckner's 15-year or 10-year or whatever, and people lose their minds. I got a text from my rep earlier last week, and he was like, we got the new batch of Augusta 15, Buckner's 15s in. They're buff turkeys, and, the cost on them is stupid. But they're good. They're really good, but they still shouldn't be that much. I mean, when my cost is $300 plus,
Oh, jeez.
they're playing on the fact of they know what they've got. If you realistically, look at the top 5 distilleries right now that people are hunting, of course it's Buffalo Trace, it's Heaven Hill, it's Wild Turkey. I would say Beam has made a push, especially with the release of the Knob Creek 21 year and with how well Booker's special releases have done.
Knob Creek was really one of the first whiskeys that got me into whiskey. Was drinking Knob Creek.
I say their 12 year is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I love it. The blue label, and it's so hard to get a hold of. Like, people talk about the 15 and the 18, and then, like I said, the 21 just came out, and I really want to try it, but not that bad for how much it's going to cost. So, but there's I would say the 5th distillery is kind of up for grabs on whichever is your favorite.
Well, and that is such an interesting thing, and correct me at any point if I'm wrong, but it's like
You're wrong.
Yeah,
You get it.
Just kidding.
but like how much of whiskey is like, hey, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's like Weller makes all of these different whiskeys and then put them in barrels, and then they age, and then they take the okay, we try all of them, and we're like, okay, these are the best, so they stay on and they keep aging, and then that eventually turns into Pappy, which and so it's like, right, I think that's right, but it's like essentially it's like how much of it is like it's the same whiskey that just turns into other things as you blend them or age them longer or different things.
Yes, so I mean, in the instance you're using of Weller to Pappy, so I believe there's what's known as poor man's Pappy, and I believe it's 60% Weller 12, 40% 107. And so, of course, to make Pappy Van Winkle, they just start with that mash bill and then let it sit. They probably could do that, where they just let the 107 and the 12 reach the age points and then, blend them together and then, make Pappy if it needs 4 more years on top of that or whatever.
Right.
But I guess the math on it wouldn't really make sense. A 12-year Weller 12, if you're trying to make a 10-year Pappy, you're already 2 years older than you should be.
But it's just that it's a lot of the same mash bills just eventually become, it's hey, the top barrels become these things, and then the ones that are not as good become those things.
So I read a biography on the Van Winkle family, and it's who's the the one of the male that runs the company now.
I think it's Julian.
Julian, yeah. A really cool story. It was, it really went into the kind of up and down of that the company overall, and how the grandfather started it, and it did really well, and then aged bourbon really wasn't popular at all. So as the son kind of took over, it declined a lot, and then Julian, who took over, ran this. I think they were distilling it themselves for a while Julian was running it. And eventually they transitioned over. I could be wrong on that, but it was he was running the thing himself, and it was like it was not doing well at all. Like it was essentially just like barely keeping like the business afloat for pretty much most of his life. And then all of a sudden, aged bourbon just started taking off like crazy, and Pappy got listed as like the #1 bourbon, and then that just took off like crazy, and now it is what it is. And they've obviously switched their process a lot, and they're distilled with Buffalo Trace now, right? And it was Weller.
It was Stitzel Weller.
Yeah, it was Stitzel Weller, and those bottles are like crazy.
Those are like gold.
Yeah, and now it's Buffalo Trace, and they explained it well. Is obviously there's a certain mash bill, I'm sure, and then certain requirements that it has to reach, but that Julian will go through like and taste like 100 different barrels, and then we'll narrow it down to essentially him being the one that is picking, like, so like obviously only certain barrels make it to be Pappy kind of deal, but who decides that? Well, it's all based off of Julian's palate, who grew up like running around a distillery as a kid and learned about bourbon his entire life, like learned the craft from his father and his grandfather. And he's got essentially, what's looked at as like one of the better palates within the industry, if not the best. And you're buying Pappy based off of his palate more than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of individuals that will say Pappy's overrated.
Yeah.
And it purely comes from the price hike. I mean, to look at like what Pappy, like what you're stating, what Pappy used to be price wise, 10-year used to be like $79.99, and a 12-year was $89, and a 15 it was a 15-year rye and a 15-year bourbon, because the 15-year rye has been DC'd, now it's a 13-year rye. 109, 129. The 23 was like 189.
Yeah,
but you could find it on the shelf collecting dust.
You could. And I think that's the biggest thing is, have you watched the documentary Heist on Netflix?
I don't think so. Well, I think I did actually.
So it's a 2-parter, and it's about how would you say, the success and the influx of individuals looking for bourbon in Pappy Van Winkle, and this individual that worked at the distillery or knew someone at the distillery that was, bootlegging it to him and whatnot. And, same thing with, if you look at like Larceny. Larceny was owned by John Fitzgerald. If you read the story of Larceny, John Fitzgerald was a janitor who was basically putting Pappy into his bottles and then selling his bottles, known as Larceny bourbon. And people were getting, Pappy without knowing what it was. With, of course, also Stitzel Weller made Pappy. Of course, he got caught and, all that stuff. But there was a point in time where a Stitzel Weller made product, such as like the Stags, so that's a big one right now, is like Stag. So there used to be Stag Junior.
Dude, we used to buy Stag Junior off the shelf, like like just whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's get a little Stag Junior off the shelf. Yep. No big deal.
And so like when Kevin, pre 2 daughters, and I think you were still married, but did I first meet you when you and Alyssa were married?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pre both daughters, little tiny ones. When Kevin made, every allocation sale, he would get Stag Junior at every single sale. It's a staple point. And a Stag Junior was a Stitzel Weller made product. Fantastic, phenomenal product. You guys, as you stated, you could get it, in most states.
Dude, I used to pick it up all the time.
I remember, walking past aisles and there being like a whole row of Stag Juniors. I'm do I need any? Nah.
Buying Stag Junior was buying, like, you could find it like you could find Jack Daniels for a long time.
Right.
Well, what's funny is, like, I remember, like, when Blanton's, you, like, could not find a bottle of Blanton's anywhere. And I remember being in Missouri and them having, like, every version, like, they, like, literally like a guy's wheeling in cases of Blanton's, and there's just cases of Blanton's on the floor, and you're like, oh man, like people would. And it was like fast forward 4 years, and it's like, oh yeah, like somebody would beat you over the head for that stack.
Yeah. But so like back to the Stag thing, Stag Junior is not Stag Junior anymore. Now it's just Stag, Well, a lot of people have really wondered what that means. Well, what that means is it's no longer a Stitzel-Weller made product. It's a Buffalo Trace made product, meaning the juice that was in the Stag Juniors was made at Stitzel-Weller. The stuff that's in the Stags now is Buffalo Trace aged. Tastes drastically different. I personally don't like it.
I haven't tried it since it became Stag. I've got we finished one bottle of Stag Junior. I've got one bottle of Stag Junior at my house.
So if I'm on like drink 3 or drink 4 and I'm, hanging out with the lady, I'll get a pour of her Stag 24D. But at my house, I have a batch 10 that I am like just sipping the smallest amounts of, because the difference in flavor is unreal. I mean, you guys know it. You guys were big into Stag before a lot of people even knew what Stag was.
We used to drink it like, we used to finish bottles of Stag. Like, whatever, get another one.
Episode 1, we finished a bottle of Stag on the podcast.
Yeah. And now
Stag Junior.
Stag Junior, my bad. Yep.
Not this new age floofy stuff that no one likes.
They add sprinkles.
That's right. Sprinkled.
Baking spice.
Sprinkled Stag. So I mean, it's just one of those things of, like you stated, to full circle it, the bourbon boom, along with Julian, like you were talking about, having what he had, which was literally just a gold mine, is now turned into probably one of the most successful individuals or distillers currently. Another fun one you need to check out is Preservation Distilling. Not a lot of people have heard of them. They're with a small wholesaler in the state, or a smaller wholesaler that's getting quite a bit bigger. But they have the owner, the young lady that owns it, is best friends with Julian Van Winkle and has been for quite some time. She has acquired, I think, 20 or 25 barrels of Pappy Van Winkle, like the original stuff, and she uses it in the like the start, like how we were talking about, like you can blend multiple different things together and still make it a straight bourbon whiskey. She uses it, and there are some things that she's got in her lineup that are impressive. Like the Preservation Pot Still Black Bottle, killer. The Old Man Winter, it's a better tasting Weller. I mean, I can go on and on and on, but...
So how does it go from being, Pappy getting dust on the shelf to being this thing that's just like crazy everybody's searching for? Just hype? Like, is it just like... how did Stag Junior go from being something that we could just find regularly and didn't care about finishing bottles of, grab another one, buying it at MSRP, to just being like, how in the world do we even get a hold of this anymore?
So I think the first thing that comes down to is the quality of the bottle for the price of the bottle.
Yeah.
So if you look at Pappy at MSRP, like we just talked about, if you look at Stag at MSRP, $65, $69.99, $68 most places. Look at another bottle like Elmer T. Lee, $39.99. If you find it MSRP, good luck. Those type of bottles that are as good as they are what is driving the prices up, because they're so limited that... Well,
again, most of these things were made, 10 years ago or whatever, and it's not like they can make just more of them.
Correct, yeah. I mean, Buffalo Trace's... what was it, 3-ish, 4 years ago, they started their $1 billion development to put another still in so they could make more Buffalo Trace. I mean, I'm not going to hate on Buffalo Trace. It's a good product for if you're, personally for me, if you want an old fashioned, it's a fantastic old fashioned. But I'm not just going to sit there and just drink Buffalo Trace all night long. No, I'd rather have a couple other things. But to answer your question, I think price point is number one. There's a lot of products that come out that are already $150, $200, $300, and people are like,
yeah,
that's tough.
You have to have a friendly enough price point for enough people to try it and love it.
Yeah. And I feel like that price point is under $60.
Yeah, sure.
If you're at $60 and you're putting out but then the proof, I think, is the next one.
Sure.
So the reason why I think Stag got so popular is because it hung out in the high 120s to the high 130s, even sometimes the low 140s for $68.
Yeah, and it's just syrup in there.
It's
so
delicious.
Good.
So I think hype on price point and availability are two of the biggest things. But then I think we just had something that happens in everyone's lifetime is something that wasn't cool 10 years ago became cool.
Yeah. Well, and with something like whiskey in general or any of these aged products, like you eventually, if it's really, really good, you outdemand the supply and then it just goes crazy.
Elijah Craig barrel proof. Yeah. Well, they've outsupplied the demand.
Did it flip flop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made so many barrel proofs so readily available that you can walk into any liquor store and you will see an Elijah Craig barrel proof out on the shelf. I have like 5 choices on top of a barrel pick.
Right.
So, it does happen. I think controlling the supply and demand curve is the biggest thing.
Sure. Did you? I can't remember if I brought this up the last episode, but have you? I think the name of the movie is Beanie Boom, or it's about the
Beanie Babies.
About Beanie Babies, and have you watched that movie?
Mm-mm.
I think you'd find it super interesting. It's obviously not bourbon, polar opposite of bourbon, but the supply and demand and the scarcity, it really applies, or it's a very close parallel, that the like boom of Beanie Babies, which I was too young to like remember really them getting really popular in the first place.
I remember.
You remember? But it was super interesting. The guy that like started is apparently like the founder's like really kind of a weird dude. He's played by Zach Galifianakis, and
the guy who made Beanie Babies was weird.
Turns out, guy's name's Ty. Didn't know why that little heart on the ear is just his first name, so doesn't stand for anything.
They're all his babies.
They are. They all got his name on it. But the
cool glass slide like that too.
This I don't think this should ruin the movie. This is like all just like
don't ruin the Beanie Baby movie for me.
Hopefully not. But the whole thing was they created understuffed. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Oh yeah. Okay, continue.
The whole thing was their first thing was they did understuffed stuffed animals, like they put less stuffing in animals, and then those got popular, and then they did a mini version of it, and those were like around for a little bit, and they were producing a few different kinds, and then it was in like this small area. This mom really got into them and started collecting them, and she was somewhat of an opinion leader or an influencer of her day among other moms. So other moms started collecting too, and it grew like within this like school district. It was like, I think it was like a PTA that it.
Hell yeah.
So they started collecting, and it grew faster than they could keep up with. And it got to the point, so like it was the supply or the demand got exponentially higher because the supply was not keeping up with it, but they were trying to keep up with the supply, or they're trying to keep the supply up with the demand. And it was really interesting because there was someone that worked there that, according to the movie, understood the supply and demand and the scarcity, how those coincide and how those work together. And she was warning to, hey, we need to make sure that we don't catch up to the demand, because that's when the demand will fall, is when anybody can get these anywhere. Where the whole thing about them now is it's hard to find so many different kinds. So, and they eventually did catch production up to the demand, and that's when Beanie Babies just plummeted.
Yeah.
This apparently, again, according to the movie, I think this is accurate. It seemed like more of an actual fact. The lady that was trying to make a big push for Beanie Babies then went on to work for Pokemon and Pokemon cards, and really worked with like scarcity and like.
Well, it's really interesting too, because I remember even being a kid and being young and like looking at Beanie Baby catalogs. You know what I'm saying? But I just remember like my mom and everybody talking about it. I'm like, oh my God, no, you're buying these because they're going to be worth so much later, blah, blah, blah. And there was like literal catalogs that would tell you like, you could buy this now for $29.99. And it'd be like estimated value, 2020, like $1,300. And I'm like, how the heck do you know that?
Yeah, how
like,
are you calculating that?
Right. And that was like one of those things where even as a kid, I felt like, maybe in retrospect, I feel this, and this never actually happened. But it's like, that feels gimmicky. If you're telling me how much something's going to be worth later.
Yeah.
Or you're just like, oh yeah, you really like that Sexton Irish whiskey? Well, guess what? I'm guessing I know it's going to be allocated allegedly in 5 years, and that $30 bottle of Irish whiskey is now going to be worth $500. And you're like, you don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like look at the success of, or the how would you say, the business model of like Pokemon and,
Right.
and sports cards. Like they clearly tell you how many, you
Right.
know, of X cards there are.
Right.
There's like 10.
Yeah.
You're producing scarcity, which is like makes sense, but it's just like even them, they're not like this is going to be worth X amount in so many years.
That's.
like,
I think. Yeah. It's people know it. There's the potential for that, but you have to let the consumer decide that. If
Right.
you put that price tag on there,
like
then it
people
seems
were
gimmicky.
literally buying them because they were going to be worth money later,
yeah.
and you're like, why?
I remember-
you have to. Somebody has to want this.
I
thing.
remember buying Beanie Babies with my mother.
Yeah.
Every time we'd go to Mercy Hospital, you know, to see a friend or whatnot, or there was the gift shop, and they'd always have like one-offs, and we'd always go in there. It's like, oh yeah, we're getting, you know, blah 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 card and some flowers, and I need that Beanie Baby.
That's right. I remember being in elementary school, and one of the girls in elementary school was like, "My mom got the Princess Diana limited edition Beanie Baby," and I was like, "Fuck, that's insane."
Just
no way.
I mean, you know, same thing with shoes, though. I mean, like, you know, the grading aspect is a whole nother level as well. I'm surprised
Right.
Bourbon hasn't gotten to that. We did talk about last time when we were here. We talked about George T. Stagg and the B-Tax and all that. You guys were talking about doing like, you know, the isolate powder. Define isolate powder, just making it like $2,100 on the secondary market.
Yeah.
You were like, can you imagine?
Yeah.
You know, Define isolate being $2,100 on the secondary market, and you were like, that'd be sweet.
Yeah. Okay, Kev. What are your notes?
My notes with this one. Let me take.
I'm getting apricot. That's my first.
That was a good ASMR.
Bit of stone fruit.
I'm not gonna lie. When my first drink, especially compared to the Maker's Mark,
Markers.
the markers. I've been sniffing some markers. And in a good way. This. I hope this one doesn't come across as weird, but I got. Now I'm nervous to say it.
Why would you be?
I'm not gonna lie. In a good way, I kind of got a hint of like tree bark.
So oak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a much better. No, the bark.
No, it's tree bark. Here, get out of my warehouse.
I'm getting apricot. It has that like what am I trying to? It's I'm trying to put my finger on it here. It's like it's sweet in a very specific way. You know, like it's got some sweetness to it, but it's not just like a straightforward like you get from like a maple or like a I don't know if it's maybe it's more of a honey sweet kind of thing to me. That's kind of where I'm at. I think I kind of like honey apricot, less heat, more sweet to me.
What's the proof on that one? What's the proof on both?
109 it looks like from here on
yeah.
the James E. Pepper.
Makers is 111.8. The James E. Pepper decanter is 109.4.
That one is very smooth for 101. They're both very smooth. That one is crazy smooth. Like I was gonna guess like 80, 90 proof based off the sip I just took.
That's what was so crazy always, and I think what we always really liked about the Stag Junior was you're just like, oh yeah, here's 138 proof whiskey, and you're like, okay, and you're like, this is syrupy, like this is like
candy.
yeah, and you're like, this is like to me, like it was always just very like, oh, like this is very smooth. You could drink this, like, and you're like, oh, by the way, that's like almost double your normal like alcohol content.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's what I loved about Stag as well, is a lot of them drank like they were like 102, 105.
Easily.
Maybe a 108, but then you're like, oh, it's 144.
And you're like, huh?
Yeah.
No wonder.
That's what do you call it? Hazmat.
Yeah.
So what notes would you give the James E. Pepper?
Yeah. What's the right answer?
Well, if there is a right answer, here we go.
I just like saying that because you're big on saying there's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
It has a specific sweetness to me. I can't quite put my finger on it.
I feel like there's a I feel like there's like almost like a marmalade molassesy note.
Yeah.
It feels like it should be thicker or like a more viscous body to it. I don't necessarily feel like it's just pure caramel or pure vanilla.
Right.
I do get a lot of oak. I feel like the leather's back. I feel like the leather's there in the background. Yeah, definitely tree bark for days. I
like the barkiness of this.
Thank you,
Kevin. Yeah. I'm Kevin. I like licking trees.
Yeah. Call this one Doug whiskey the way it's barking.
All right, so we're gonna pretend like eating bark is a weird thing, but eating oak is a normal thing.
Yeah.
So not on 2x4s.
To be fair, my buddy Greg, every time he's an oak fanatic, and there's a bottle called Frank August Case Study 4, and it's a quad oak. And it is like licking an oak stave. And it's, I mean, still a really, really good whiskey, but the oak note on it is extremely prominent. And he's obsessed with it. And I'm like, you would be, because you would lick oak.
I seem to remember somebody in their Scotch days being a real peat monster.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And we could have given you a bowl of peatos and you would have just...
Pitos, P-E-A-T-O's.
To be clear.
Let's clear that up real quick.
Kevin would eat a bowl of pedos, too.
Hey, whatever gets him off the streets.
Hey, yeah.
Where's that Taco Bell?
Yeah. This feels like an OG episode. I like this. This is fun.
I'm getting tobacco in this too.
I feel like every time you take a drink of it, you're also something else comes to life.
Yeah, like how I breathe, how I do anything, it just like hits a different note.
How do I breathe? Fuck. I was watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine the other day. I don't know if you guys have watched those.
Oh yeah.
I just got into it, and there's
so good.
That episode with Terry Crews is trying to like be reevaluated to go back into the force.
Yep.
And he's like, all right, one more shot. And he's like, wait, how do I breathe? How do I breathe? So,
classic.
Yeah.
When he like shoots the mannequin a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Good stuff. My wife and I are rewatching.
My wife.
Oh,
by the way, congratulations on getting married.
I
haven't seen you in that long.
There we go.
Oh, man.
That's right. A little over a year, right? I mean, check it out.
A bit.
She's still with you?
Yeah, she is.
She puts up with you.
Sticking around.
Congrats on that.
Yeah.
We got a dog. His name's Moose. He is the coolest thing ever. I was explaining to my wife the other day that like I didn't think I'd ever love anything as much as her. Still don't. To be clear, but Moose is right there. I am
crazy,
obsessed with this dog. Oh my gosh!
So I'm the same
can't
way.
get enough, man.
I got a German Shepherd about 3 months ago.
Dude, we're like a month and a half in, and he's just the coolest fucking dog, and he's also like. He's such a blessing because he is the perfect dog for us, right? Like he just fits into our personality super well. He's a goofball, like he's tons of fun, but he's also super chill, just wants to sleep, like but also like you got the ball, like hell yeah, let's go run and let's go play with the ball. But the biggest thing, and my wife and I both of us agreed. He is such a cuddler, and it was like, that would be devastating if he wasn't. He just like, literally this morning, I woke up, and he was like at the foot of the bed, and he just turned back, and he looked at me, and I'm like, come on, baby. And he's like, oh, yeah. and he just immediately just like, he just wants to be Little Spoon all the time, and it's the coolest thing in the world.
So I got a Sable German Shepherd the 2 days after my birthday in August.
Yeah. What does Sable mean?
So
for Kevin, he doesn't know.
Yeah. So it's a tricolor long hair.
Ooh.
So black, brown, and a little bit of white, a little bit of gold in the brown as well. He is 24 or 25 weeks old this Sunday.
Yeah.
He is 73 pounds.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
So
That's bigger than the last time I saw him.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. You saw him when
I got to see him very quickly.
when he was a tiny thing.
ragged. Ragged.
Let's say it.
Three-peat.
See
Small batch.
I got
That's still you. I'm big heat. Oh my gosh, there's your picture of our dogs.
let's say I'm trying to see. I haven't taken like new photos of him.
Because tonight will be
Aw,
because tonight will be the night I'll fall for you.
you definitely need to dye his hair black.
Yeah, right.
Hashtag felt emo might delete later.
Dude, wait till you see this and you see how like my dog's actually fucking cooler than me, and that's the problem. Let me find this. Yeah, Kevin, you do whatever.
My dog rides on the lawnmower with me.
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
let's go. That's so cool.
So I did take, 2-3 trips with the blades off.
Right, smart.
And then, because I was like, I don't want to, cut him up. That'd be terrible. That's
A couple practice rounds.
Yeah, that's the Fitz.
Oh yeah,
Fits.
Yeah, his name is Fitz, Fitz.
fucking cool.
Your dog's cool as shit.
Yeah, right, dude. Like, I'm like, fuck. Dude. He looks like he's backstage about ready to go on.
Dude, he looks like he's about to go shred some snow. Like,
Literally, he's just like,
grab my board,
we
bro.
Going, dude. Let's go.
grab my board and shred.
Speaking of the Eagles jersey I'm wearing right now, there we go.
There you
He's
go.
got his Kelly Green on.
Does your wife have a Jason Kelsey shirt on or jersey on?
She does. Yeah,
Yep.
she's got good taste.
She does.
She's got a Jason Kelsey jersey, a Lane Johnson jersey, and a Devonta Smith jersey. So she's got real good taste.
Oh, she's gotten into it.
Showing love to the O line over there,
Dude,
like,
she and that's my favorite part. I'll be just like, oh yeah, like be like, Cam Jurgens is back, and she's like, hell yeah, like we've needed him back. Like that backup center wasn't doing great, and I'm like, fucking,
Fuck.
you want to do it? Let's go. Sorry, Moose. Get out the room.
Yeah. You ever thought about getting a moose named dog?
I was literally about to say that. You said just a second ago, you were like, I got a dog and I named him Moose. I was like, when you get drunk, do you ever say I got a moose and I named him Dog?
My God.
My God.
You know what? Actually, you know what's been on my mind a lot recently? We don't learn enough about American history. I am curious if you know about this because I have been deep diving into this. This has been my whatever thing I've been paying attention to on social media and research.
One of the things you get into after you're 30.
That's right, but for real though. Did you know? So I always felt like there's not much. There was TikTok about this the other day that kind of sparked this whole thing. But it was like, we don't have much information of like what the United States was like or North America was like for X number of years until we like colonialism happened and all that kind of stuff. We have very much of that forward, but we don't have anything of that back. And it's like, yeah, of course there's like Native Americans, different Indian tribes, all that kind of
Theories on how they came over. And
stuff. Fun fact though, did you know that there was like 50,000 people plus cities that existed in the United States prior to colonialism?
no.
One of them is just outside. The biggest one in the United States is called Cahokia, and it's literally just on the other side of the river from St. Louis.
Yeah, Cahokia Mounds.
Yes.
I visited those as a kid. I didn't. I was probably too young to actually learn a lot of the history. But they're like legitimately. You go as a kid, and it was like these giant.
I grew up in Missouri. I'd never heard of this until a week ago.
Well, you were in Springfield, in St. Louis.
Right.
Again, it was like
It's
like
right
a
there.
30-45 minute drive. But yeah, it's like these giant hills.
Yeah.
and it's like
Man-made hills.
And I think, dude, I would go back as an adult, and I'd probably enjoy it a lot more because I went and like I would just run up and down the hills, right? I didn't learn anything. But they are like massive like man-made hills, and they're like tiered and like have like areas where like you could tell there was like steps and
that they theorized that there used to be like a Chichen Itza size pyramid, like the big pyramids you see in like Mexico, like that size of pyramid on those, because there were 50,000 people lived in that city. That's bigger than at that time. Cahokia was a bigger city than London was.
Wow.
And I had never heard the word Cahokia until a week ago.
Yeah, that's crazy. I probably haven't heard that word since I was a kid.
Right, but like that's something that we just are not even taught or talked about, or like any of these things that it's like in my mind I've always thought of like the like tribes being very big, nomad, and being like, okay, you're just out in the plains or whatever.
Maybe more like the Mayan tribes were a lot bigger. But.
Right, and you're like, yeah, but the tribe, but even that, you're like, okay, but they had these big like cities and these whole things where, you know, and they're seeing a lot of stuff where even in like Brazil in the rainforest there was like these whole vast cities that looked, and then you're like, oh yeah, by the way, just outside St. Louis was like one of the largest ancient cities ever, and you're like, what?
I don't know if I did not know that. That's for sure.
How
I know.
crazy
I
is
just
that?
know them as Cahokia Mounds because they're just big grass hills now. But
So that's been what's on my radar recently, guys. We aren't talking enough about this.
yeah, that's actually I would love to go back there as an adult and actually like learn more.
We
about
should.
That. I know they had one thing I do remember is that they found that there was
That's what they thought this shit looked like.
the big grass mounds you can see in there are still there.
Right.
Wow.
Like that's the thing. Like they built these giant mounds.
It's like very obviously too. Like they're like squared off and like symmetrical. Like it's like this is obviously man-made, but it just looks like a big grass hill.
Yeah, it looks like that now.
Yeah, that's exactly
That's what it
right.
looks
Yeah,
like now.
but
Oh yeah, because it's a picture of it. Kevin.
yeah. But I remember I don't know why I remember this one, but I remember they had like a big like central clock, which was essentially just big tree trunks like put in the ground. That was, I can't remember the specific name of what you call this. I'm sure somebody knows, but there was like one in the center and then other big tree trunks put around the one in the center, and then
Like
where
a
the
sundial?
Yeah, sundial. That's the name of it. But essentially, it was like a big central one, and like as the as the sun would go, it would show what time it is. So like as you were like out and about in the city, you could see what time it was because there's this massive central one. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
But like, what a crazy thing that they like. I just feel like that's crazy that I've never even heard of like that kind of thing. And it was 3 hours away from where I grew up.
yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, no, this is like totally a thing that was like, yeah, dude, this is like the kind of stuff they theorize it looked like.
That's like some Aztecian, like
Yeah, like
Mayan
Chichen
temple
Itza
set.
kind of
Yeah.
shit. And you're just like, oh yeah, no, that they just had one of those in St. Louis.
Speaking of Chichen Itzas, what'd you order from Taco Bell?
Chicken pizza. I went to Chichen Itza when we went on that cruise, and they were like, it's Chichen Itza, not chicken pizza. You're like, that's why you're with a tour guide.
Yeah, we got a good one.
Yeah. And then they trick you. If you ever go to Chichen Itza, all the bus driver people, they're going to be like, don't buy anything inside. Buy from the exterior before you get into the park. That's where you get the good stuff. Everything inside is bad. Buy only from the outside. And you're like, okay, cool, whatever. And you do that because you're not from there. And I ended up buying like a Chichen Itza, like, lava glass. What's that called? Like lava rock. There's a word for it. What that's called. Can't remember right now.
Replica.
Yeah. Replica. No, it's a type of rock, Kevin.
Oh.
Damn it. You're my rock guy. But it's...
Basalt?
Huh?
Basalt?
No, it's not.
Scoria?
No. Keep them coming.
Pumice?
Nope.
Obsidian?
Obsidian, yes, it's obsidian, and you're like, cool, this is like lava rock, kind of whatever, and it's shaped as Chichen Itza, and I'm like, okay, bet. Bought it $40 American, and you're like, okay, whatever. It's like this big, it's a little tabletop thing, a
maybe.
little desk weight,
Yeah,
and you're like,
cool.
okay, that's cool though, whatever. You go inside, that same damn thing, literally identical, is $4. $4.
They're in cahoots.
They were in cahoots. Mr. Chicken Pizza, with his jokes, he's in cahoots with the $40 Chichen Itza model, guys. And it's all just a scam. It just pisses you off, you know? You get in there and it's $4. I'm like, I literally bought that exact same thing, and I like flip it over, and I'm like, I'm doing math. I'm like, that's fucking $5. Damn it!
What else grinds your gears?
I don't know. That's all I got right now.
When the Uber driver's more than 30 minutes late.
That's
with his
right.
Taco Bell.
That's right. But for real though, like I do think it's actually crazy that we get real deep into this kind of stuff. But it is like there's this book one time that I got. I think I still have it. I'm sure I do. But it's like to the victors go like the myths and the legends. And so the idea is like whoever wins the war gets to play the good guy, right? And gets to kind of write history on like what happened because you won. So it's like your perspective is definitely going to be the thing that is shared as opposed to the people who are all dead.
Like
right?
World War II.
Anywho, so
Kidding.
yeah,
Kidding.
But it's one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, but you know, when we start looking at like colonialism in general and like people coming to the United States, well, of course, if you take out a bunch of the people who were already here, well then, you know, with however they did it, you know, coming across like the, you know, and killing a lot of the Native Americans and all that kind of stuff. Well, yeah, of course, a lot of that history is going to be gone. But then also like that history still does exist, obviously, where people have some knowledge of it. And you'd think growing up, again, you grew up like, you know, within miles, a few miles of it. It's like, you guys maybe heard about it as kids, but it's like you'd really think that that would be something that we hear all about ancient Europe all the time. We hear all about the Dark Ages, all that kind of stuff of like kings and knights and Black Plague and all that kind of stuff. And it's like you hear nothing of what was going on.
Yeah,
I didn't even ever make that connection that I've never even thought about where you're like, oh yeah, you go over to Europe and it's like all these like ancient things that are still around. And you're like, bro, there's ancient things all over the place. Like literally East St. Louis has how many artifacts on the ground from Cahokia that like we don't even think about that I've never thought
And it
about.
was, I didn't learn about that in school. And I don't remember much about it because it was like I literally went to like visit them, and I'm sure I don't know if there was a museum or like just like little like stands with like
but you think growing up in the
but,
Midwest, you would know. It'd be like knowing the Roman Empire.
Right.
We should know that.
Yeah. It's like living in Europe and not knowing about that.
And it's one of those things where like Cahokia was like a huge thing, and then it wasn't a thing at all prior to colonialism. Like it all happened in like it disbanded as being like a place in like the 1400s or something.
That is interesting of like to think about like what took it from going from a city of 50,000 people to nobody.
Right. Well, and there's like that's just one of many major like city metropolitan trade routes. Like all these things that existed, and you're like, huh? You just think of it as just being like nothing. Like there's just nothing that like how much Native American history is lost.
Yeah.
You know, like how many great battles or like these huge things that like happened that we don't even.
How many other cities that had crazy things
that literally we don't even know about.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Chew on that.
I'm sorry, we're getting off topic. I gotta go get Riley though, so we better start to wrap up here.
Well,
Finish your whiskey.
Cahokia, you know what I'm saying?
Jantz, to go back to your barrel picks really quick. This is one parallel I wanted to make, where I talked about obviously Pappy.
One parallel?
A parallel. We're cutting.
And you're done. Taco Bell better get
Who's
it quick.
taking me home?
Probably the Uber driver.
Man, to give one parallel, when I talked about Julian Van Winkle and people buying Pappy, and maybe whether they realize it or not, it's like you're buying based off of that person's palate. Like reading that, especially when I was going through a stint of literally buying every single barrel pick that you were getting, it finally clicked for me of like I'm buying based off of, because I know I really enjoy the picks that Jantz makes because of his palate.
Yep.
Because of Jantz's palate. So, man, it legitimately is to the point, like you pulled these both out and they were like, you're like, these are both barrel picks. I'm like, these are going to be fantastic because you picked them. So,
I appreciate it,
man. And that's just one element of the business that you run, is the barrel picks that you do and the palate that you have and the recommendations that you make but one element is just the barrel picks. It's like easily, like if you're not sure what to get, just get a barrel pick from Jantz. It will be phenomenal. So, and he's always got a new option. You go in every day and he'll have a new one, it seems like.
I have 6 more coming.
Golly, dude.
I'm going to name one of them the Cahokia special.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And the other one's going to be Taco Bell 605.
So you mentioned, this is one thing I actually wanted to ask about. You mentioned that you don't promote it a whole lot because you get the, you call them the tater sniffers or something?
Tater chasers. Tater sniffers. Uh-oh.
You're good. Keep talking. Tater sniffers.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's caught. Caught the snare. You don't necessarily promote because people are going to come in and buy it all up. And I know for you, that's your regulars may not be able to get the bottles that you're hoping they get because of these random people coming in and shopping. Do you do, like with these, are you doing any promoting at all, or?
So we tend to do kind of the same thing. We tend to like interiorly promote first to the allocated individuals, in the private group, to where they know about it before anyone else does. And then what ends up happening is it ends up going on, a secondary market page or, and which is fine at a certain time. So, I mean,
It's just interesting that like you're kind of avoiding certain bottles like really blowing up. Like obviously you're buying the inventory and you want to sell it, and it's interesting that you're being very strategic about not just like selling as fast as you can.
Well, so I want to sell every barrel pick as quickly as possible. So the goal is to, the turn ratio. I want to turn every bottle before the barrel shows up. That's the goal. And to continue and strive for doing as many barrel picks as I do. I mean, these are expensive gambles.
Absolutely. Yeah. How many bottles?
So it depends. So like, for example, the James E. Pepper yielded about 170. The makers yielded 250. It was one of the biggest barrels we've ever done.
Jeez.
To this date, it is the most expensive barrel based off of yield we've ever done.
Yeah. You're gambling on being able to sell 250 bottles.
You have to buy all of those, right?
Yes. Yeah. No. So I do a thing. I'm trying to get a coalition together of other store owners that are big into store picks about when I do a barrel, or we go in as an entity and do a barrel and split it 5 ways, 6 ways.
That makes sense.
Now the wholesalers don't necessarily like that because that's, instead of 5 barrel picks they're doing, it's 1 split 5 ways. So it's less money they make, but we're not in it to make the wholesalers money. We're in it to make ourselves money. I mean, if the wholesalers make money on top of it, then fantastic. But
yeah, it could be the difference of them selling a barrel and not selling a barrel though.
Yep.
And we could do more of them.
It's ultimately, I think so.
I think when you take for easy numbers' sake, 150 bottle yield barrel, split it between 5 accounts, 30 bottles per piece, that's an easy move.
Right. Sure.
I mean, we've got some fun. I'll let this. We've got 4 different dark arts picks coming that are split between 5 accounts in the state currently, where I have 24 bottles of each coming, and they're gonna go fast. We've got some other fun things so I can talk about this one. So Marshall at George's, he did some Southern Collective barrel picks, some amazing, bourbons and ryes, one that is an American light whiskey that's a 20-year that he sold out of like that. Same avenue of the 1792 pick I did being gone in 3 days. We advertise because, yes, we want to sell them. I think I want to make sure my regulars get an opportunity at it first.
Yeah.
And not everybody, is checking their Facebook as often as they should. So when it comes to like a marketing program, we are looking at maybe switching to a texting program.
Makes sense.
Just so, because, people are more often to check a text than they are their Facebook. And, some people don't even have Facebook. So, but I think the goal is to create such a demand for the store picks that we do, that people come in and they want to buy them out before they're even here. And do a $1 placeholder or whatnot, and tack it on at the end of the bill, like, okay, hey, you got a $1 placeholder on the next store pick or whatever. And that's the name of the game, because doing 9 to 10 store picks a year at an average of $10K a piece, it's a lot of money tied up.
Sure.
And you also have to think about, like, okay, so yeah, there is regular makers on the shelf. So now with a potential maker store pick, I could be pulling away from normal makers sales. So, you do this investment and spend another, 10-ish, 15K, whatever, on top of whatever you've already spent on the other makers. It's like, okay, is this feasible? Does this make sense? So yeah, turn is the biggest name of the game.
I feel like though, like Kevin was kind of alluding to, and even just kind of saying earlier, was like, I do feel like with you and your reputation, especially amongst your regulars, like I do think there's a little extra additional level of like, oh, this is a store pick. Like this does make sense. I'm just going to pick this up because I know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
That's I feel like that makes a lot of sense too. Is you're not just trying to build hype to everybody. It's you're really prioritizing the people that are buying all the other liquor that they're buying from you. Mm-hmm. And that makes a lot of sense. Is you're really pouring back into the people that are supporting you otherwise, not just the people that are driving halfway across town, going to buy this one bottle and then won't see you again until you drop, something else that's a sniffing tater. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why we do the allocation sales the way we do of, if you shop with us, I always tell people like you shop with us, like, for our normal products, then I'm going to make sure when we do our allocation sales, you're going to get those allocated bottles at MSRP plus 10%.
Yep.
And, that's the deal.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I think that's a great way. It's probably why you have such loyal customers, or one of many reasons you have such loyal customers too. So, well,
it's been fun, boys.
I wish we had more time for this episode.
I told you in advance we were going to talk the entire time.
And then the whole Cahokia thing,
Yeah, we just kind of let you run with that one.
All right. Listen
no, that is
here.
interesting.
It's interesting stuff that's not taught.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have you back for another episode.
Roll three-peat.
Dude, it may be good that we have a little bit more time limit here because we'd be probably be 1 a.m. in the morning. We'd be like, has it been 2 hours yet?
Who pressed record?
Good thing we have the next 4 weeks podcast recorded. Wait, did we hit record?
Yeah.
That'd be fun to do a 2-part podcast.
Ooh.
Down.
That would not be a bad idea.
And that would give you guys a free Monday.
You're telling me, bro.
Philly cheesesteaks.
Oh, stop. I am hungry. I haven't eaten enough today. And then just a couple of these, and I'm like,
dude,
what's bad for me?
All right, yeah. Calling it right now. Next episode, 2-part podcast with a Philly cheesesteak intermission.
Deal. Are we cooking them here or are we bringing them?
I think bringing them.
Yeah, okay. On order with DoorDash Philly cheesesteaks.
I mean, unless you're offering to cook some Philly cheesesteaks.
So, yeah, I'm probably not the best chef, but I do know of a couple places that have some good Philly cheesesteaks.
I feel like after a couple of drinks too, I'm going to be like, cook that Philly cheesesteak for me.
I'm going to be like, I don't care how you get it here.
So we'll go get HDs to bring us some.
Here we go.
Some good stuff.
Dude, this has been super fun though. Like genuinely, man, like you're always super, obviously, bringing super cool things for us to try out is obviously a super cool thing. And we're super thankful of that. But on top of that, man, I want you to know that like, even if you didn't, we'd still love to have you on because like you do bring such an awesome perspective into a very unique industry that there is obviously similarities to like supplements, but also it's one of those things where you are so ingrained in that industry. It's very cool to hear about the different things that happen and the intricacies just kind of within that. And so, man, it's always a pleasure to just hear about that kind of stuff, what you're doing in your own business, and obviously going through a little bit of struggles right now, but we know you'll get through it and be on the other side, just like Kevin said, more successful than ever. But man, it is genuinely a joy to just like kind of have you on and get to hang out with you more than I feel like I want to be able to hang out with you more. You know what I mean? And so it's always a super cool thing to have you on and just hear about the industry, the things you're doing, the super cool, unique things that you're doing, getting to, bring something like a Maker's Mark that's never been made before. Yeah. All that kind of stuff is super, super neat, man. And we just really appreciate your time and obviously your generosity when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's definitely a blessing and a privilege for us to be able to have you on, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I say I'll be back as many times as you'll have me.
Yeah.
These are, man, both episodes have been a blast, man. So like, even if honestly, even if the viewers don't like it, I enjoy these a lot.
Right?
And they like it. The first one was so popular.
These you'll definitely be a regular guest on this podcast, man. So I'll be looking forward to the next episode.
Man.
So even if you didn't bring nice bourbons with you, man, it would be a super fun conversation. I know we were saying some pretty crazy things before we even started drinking. So
Smell your glass.
Yeah.
Now that it's dry.
Kevin threw mine away from me. Oh.
And the longer it dries, the more notes you'll pick it. Anyway.
you didn't. Yeah, there was no rinse in between the two.
Oh yeah.
Combo.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. Yeah.
Smells so
Little
good.
wombo combo.
Super sweet. Everybody just enjoys the smells.
Just
Sounds.
There's probably one weirdo that's like, this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah, just like the ones who like your feet.
that guy, if he's still listening, did you hear about that?
No.
There's a YouTube comment that I did. I did an episode with sandals on, and I wasn't wearing socks, and apparently
Somebody noticed.
how much? Yeah, they were a big fan of how I wiggled my toes in my sandals.
Yep. They were real big fans.
Sounds like you're starting a Foot Finder account.
Dude, right?
I put the comment. I screenshotted it, put that comment on my story, and put link to my Foot Finder, and it was just I rickrolled a lot of employees here. I'm like, why'd you click on the Foot Finder?
Bunch of freaks. What episode is this?
81.
81. That's crazy. That means we've been doing this for like 160 weeks.
So that means episode 100 is the trifecta episode then? Because that's the first episode with 3 numbers.
Oh, shit. There it is. It is decided.
My head
All
just
right.
exploded.
So it's going to be 9 bottles. It's going to be 3 per person. Specifically,
And we have to drink
Taylor,
all 3 each.
we're going to drink every ounce of liquid in all 9 bottles.
Dude, yeah, we should not be cooking Philly cheesesteaks. Somebody needs to just bring them. We'll just DoorDash
We're
them.
gonna definitely need an intermission.
a nap.
What'd you guys do? We had Philly cheesesteaks and slept.
Yeah. What time is it?
This episode it's 6 parts. It lasts 4 days.
Yeah, and the last 4 parts are bad. Oh man,
Jantz, thanks so much for being here, man. Dude, best of luck with everything that you're going through with the business. I know you're going to bounce back even strong. Dude, everything you have going on and the customer base that you have, dude, I know you guys aren't going to skip a beat, man. I'm glad you've got such a good mindset and are really taking some like time to like really enjoy some of the things in life, man. And I'm excited to see you guys get going, and man, I'm excited to see all the viewers be able to come and meet you and see what your store is all about, and see
dope.
why we rave so much about you, and try some of these barrel picks because they are phenomenal.
Yeah.
They are so good.
what was it was the Penelope one that you brought last
Yeah,
time. It's
those-
the brown bottle. Which one was that?
The toasted.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a barrel pick, right? That might be my favorite whiskey I've ever had in my life.
I still have some of that.
I'm gonna steal it. In your house, steal it. It literally. That was like, holy moly! This
It's
is
very good. Yeah, those all were very good.
Yeah, they really were. Well, sweet. Episode 81.
Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks, James, for being here.
Yeah, seriously. dude.
Thanks for having me, guys.
And just so everybody knows, obviously you will be open by the time this posts.
Hopefully.
Yeah, just how to find you, where your store is, all that kind of stuff.
Northwest 164th and Rockwell. So 2 miles north of the Kilpatrick, 3 miles west of Highway 74 or Lake Hefner Parkway. Facebook, The Wine Barrel. We have an Instagram as well. We don't really post on it. Probably should, but... and then, yeah, just The Wine Barrel.
Yeah,
Yeah, look
super
'em up.
awesome place. It's a great stuff. It's worth the even if you don't live over there, it is worth the drive.
It is, 100%.
absolutely worth the drive. It's not far, so from anybody. So, well, sweet. Episode 81. We appreciate the time. Appreciate your listeners. Peace out.
See you guys.
Peace out.